U.S. money and move. Imagine this, April 2026. Visa Bulletin comes out, you open the chart, and for the first time in a long time, your category looks like it finally moved. You think, this is it, I can file now. You start celebrating, you start gathering documents, maybe you even rush to submit something. Then you find out you were looking at the wrong chart, or USCIS isn't using that chart this month, and your filing gets rejected or delayed. That is how people lose weeks or even months in immigration. Not because they weren't eligible, but because they moved fast without doing the two-step confirmation that actually controls everything. So yes, the April 2026 Visa Bulletin may contain major movement for certain categories. But the real question is not, did it move? The real question is, does it create a filing window for your exact case this month? And are you ready to file correctly while that window is open? In this video, I'm going to help you do 3 things, clearly and without hype. First, identify the one line that actually controls your case: your category, your chargeability, and your priority date. Second, confirm which chart matters this month. Final action dates versus dates for filing and whether USCIS is allowing you to use it. And third, build a simple action plan so if your window is open, you file correctly and don't waste time. Before we go further, 2 important reminders to keep this accurate and safe. 1. Always verify what you hear online against the official sources: travel.state.gov for the Visa Bulletin and uscis.gov for the monthly "Which chart should I use?" announcement. 2. This is general information, not legal advice. Eligibility depends on your full immigration history, your current status, your category, and sometimes small details you might not realize are important. If you have complications, speak with a qualified immigration attorney before filing anything. Now let's break this down in the most useful way possible. The Visa Bulletin is not just news. It's essentially a monthly traffic signal for green cards. It tells you how far the government is letting each line move. And that matters because U.S. immigration has annual limits. When demand is higher than supply, dates move slowly. When the government has room to issue more visas in a category, dates move faster. But the bulletin does not guarantee the future. It is a snapshot of what the government is doing this month. And here's where most people get confused. The bulletin usually has 2 separate charts for each category. One chart called Final Action Dates and another called Dates for Filing. Final action dates usually answer the question, is a green card number actually available so my case can be approved? Dates for filing usually answer the question, can I submit my application packet to get in line and start processing now? If you are outside the United States and going through consular processing, final action dates are typically what control when an interview can realistically move forward. If you are inside the United States and you want to file adjustment of status, the chart that matters depends on what USCIS allows that month. USCIS sometimes lets people use dates for filing, and other times USCIS restricts filings to final action dates. If you don't confirm that USCIS decision, you can file too early, get rejected, and lose time. So when someone says EB2 is current or F2A is current, don't stop there. Ask, current on which chart, and is USCIS allowing that chart for filing right now? Now let's build the foundation. The 3 data points you must know before you can do anything with the bulletin. First is your category. For employment-based cases, that's usually EB1, EB2, EB3, EB4, or EB5. For family-based cases, it could be F1, F2A, F2B, F3, or F4. Second is your chargeability. That is usually your country of birth, not necessarily your current passport. People make mistakes here all the time. Third is your priority date. That's the date that holds your spot in line. In employment-based cases, it's often tied to perm filing or I-140 filing, depending on the case. In family-based cases, it's typically the I-130 filing date. If you don't know your priority date, you cannot use the bulletin properly. Once you have those 3 items, your next step is to check both charts in the Visa Bulletin for your category and country. And then, this is the step people skip. You go to USCIS and confirm which chart they allow for adjustment of status filing that month. Now, let's talk about what people are watching for April 2026 and how to think about it in a way that helps you act instead of just watching. On the family-based side, one category that often changes life for couples is F2A, which covers spouses and minor children of lawful permanent residents. When F2A opens up, it can create a real opportunity for people inside the United States if they are eligible to adjust status. A lot of online discussion around April 2026 suggests that F2A could become current on the dates for filing side, which would be major because it could allow many eligible spouses to file adjustment of status without waiting abroad. But here's the key. Even if the bulletin shows F2A current for filing, you must confirm that USCIS is allowing the dates for filing chart for family-based AOS filings that month. If USCIS does allow it, and if you are inside the U.S. in lawful status and eligible, you may be able to file the I-485 package in April. That does not mean everyone can file. Status issues matter. Prior immigration problems matter. Some people are in the U.S. but not in a status that allows adjustment, or they have complications that require careful handling. So, if you're in an F2A situation, treat this like an opportunity that requires preparation, not a rumor you rush into. What does preparation look like for F2A? It means you confirm the chart, you confirm your eligibility, and you prepare the packet properly. That usually includes the I-130 side if not already filed, the I-485 adjustment packet when allowed, and the supporting documents that prove identity and eligibility. It also includes evidence of a real bona fide marriage, shared address, shared life evidence, shared responsibilities, because marriage-based filings are heavily scrutinized. A strong, organized filing can reduce delays. A rushed, messy filing can cause problems. Now, another topic people talk about in these Visa Bulletin months is, should I get married now because the bulletin moved? No one should make a life decision based purely on a monthly chart. Marriage is personal and legal. If you are already planning to marry for real reasons, then you should understand how the timing affects immigration options. But rushing into marriage for a chart without understanding eligibility and consequences is not a safe strategy. Let's move to employment-based categories because April 2026 discussions have also focused heavily on EB2 and EB3. EB2 is a category that includes many professionals, advanced degree holders, and certain national interest cases. When EB2 moves forward significantly or becomes current for large groups of countries, it can open a major filing window. People get excited because current often means a green card number is available, which is the bottleneck for many cases. But EB2 movement only helps you if your case is actually ready. So here's what you should be asking if you're EB2. Do you already have an approved I-140 or is it still pending? If it's pending, do you have a strategy to get it approved fast enough to use the window, like premium processing? Where eligible? If your EB2 case requires PERM, is PERM already approved? Are you inside the U.S. in a status that allows adjustment of status? Do you have any issues that make you ineligible to adjust? If you can't answer those questions, your first action is not celebrate. Your first action is organize and confirm, because the Visa Bulletin can open a window, but you still need the rest of the case ready to walk through it. EB3 is another category that many people wait on for years. When EB3 moves forward significantly for worldwide categories, Mexico or certain other chargeability areas, it can unlock AOS filing for people who have been blocked by dates. Again, it's a big deal, but only if your PERM and I-140 timeline are in place. Many EB3 cases are employer-driven. You can't skip steps. So if you're EB3 and you think a window is opening, you want to confirm where your case is, PERM status, I-140 status, and whether you're ready to file AOS when allowed. Now let's address a phrase you may have heard online. Surplus visas. Sometimes people claim big movement means there's a surplus and that everyone will get approved. Be careful. The government's movement can be influenced by many factors: processing capacity, demand, visa allocation, and how many cases are ready for approval. It's possible for dates to jump and then stop. It's possible for dates to jump and then retrogress. The bulletin is not a promise of the next month. That's why the best mindset is, if your window opens, use it correctly and quickly. Now I want to talk about consular processing versus adjustment of status, because this affects what current means in real life. If you are outside the US, even if your date becomes current, you still need an interview slot at a US consulate. That timing depends on your consulate's capacity, your document qualification, security checks, and local conditions. So, current helps, but it doesn't automatically mean your interview happens instantly. If you are inside the US and eligible to adjust status, the ability to file AOS can be powerful because it moves your case through USCIS. Filing AOS can also allow you to apply for work authorization and advance parole, depending on the situation, while the case is pending. But again, eligibility to adjust status is not universal. If you have complicated history, you must get legal guidance. Now let's make this even more practical with a simple method to read the bulletin without getting lost. Step 1. Write down your category, chargeability, and priority date. Step 2. Pull up the official Visa Bulletin and locate your category on the chart. Step 3. Look at both charts, final action and filing, so you understand what's happening. Step 4. If you're inside the US and want to file AOS, go to USCIS and confirm which chart they allow for that month. USCIS publishes this monthly, and it is the gatekeeper for filing. If you do these steps in this order, you avoid the biggest mistake: filing under the wrong chart. Now, what should you do if your category appears open in April 2026? Here's a realistic checklist. First, confirm whether your filing is allowed. Second, gather civil documents: passports, birth certificates, marriage certificates, divorce documents if applicable, translations. Third, gather your immigration history: I-94 records, visa stamps, prior notices, prior EAD/AP records, any prior filings. Fourth, gather category-specific documents. For family cases, gather proof of a bona fide relationship and sponsor eligibility. For employment cases, gather evidence you remain eligible and that the job offer still exists where required. Fifth, plan the medical exam timing carefully. A common mistake is doing the medical too early or too late. Timing matters because of validity rules and processing delays. Sixth, check your address and contact information is updated so you don't miss notices. If you're dealing with an attorney, a strong move is to do a readiness review before the window opens. So once filing is allowed, you're not scrambling for records and translations. People who benefit most from bulletin movement are the people who are ready on day one. Now let's talk about the prediction question. A lot of creators will say, "This will keep moving for 3 months," or "This will definitely stay current." Be careful with that. Nobody can guarantee future bulletins. The government can change movement depending on demand and visa usage. You can watch patterns, but you should not depend on predictions. You should depend on readiness. If you want to watch signals without guessing, here's what actually matters. Look at how many categories moved, not just one. Look at whether movement is broad across worldwide categories or limited to one region. Look at whether family categories are also moving. Broad movement can suggest the government is trying to use available visa numbers efficiently. But even then, movement can slow or reverse. So treat a window like a limited time opportunity, not like a permanent change. Now, I also want to address a common misconception. People think if they file AOS, the green card approval is guaranteed. It's not. Filing begins processing. You can still get a request for evidence. You can still get background check delays. You can still face eligibility issues. And in marriage-based cases, you can still face interview scrutiny. Filing is the start of the final stage, not the finish line. But getting into the system when allowed is often the critical step that reduces your long-term wait. If you're watching this video and you want to know whether you should take action right now, ask yourself, do I know my category, chargeability, and priority date? Am I inside the US in lawful status and eligible to adjust? Is my underlying petition ready, like I-130 for family or Perm I-140 for employment? If the answer is yes, you should be monitoring April 2026 closely and preparing your packet now. If the answer is no, your action item is to organize your case details and get a professional review so you're not caught off guard when the next window opens. If you want, you can comment with your category, your chargeability country, and whether you are inside or outside the US. I can help you understand which chart you should be watching and what current actually means in your situation. Just remember, online guidance is not a substitute for legal advice on your specific facts, especially if you have any complications. If this breakdown helps you, subscribe to US Money and Move so you don't miss the next bulletin update. The Visa Bulletin changes every month, and timing is everything. The goal isn't to panic or chase rumors. The goal is to confirm with official sources, understand which chart controls your case, and file correctly the moment your window opens, so you don't lose time to avoidable mistakes. Thanks for watching. Pull the official April 2026 Visa Bulletin, confirm the USCIS chart selection for that month, and get your case ready like a professional. Because when the bulletin finally moves, you don't want paperwork to be the reason you miss your chance.